Hey there guys, and welcome back to Pokemon Yellow. In the last episode, which is also the first episode, we got on our way, we got Pikachu as our starter, we caught a Nidoran male, beat my rival Daniel twice, and now we're going to continue to Viridian Forest. Oh yeah, this. I had my coffee now and I feel great. I know that most adults need coffee in the morning to, properly function, but not a lot of adults go out and block entire roads when they haven't had their coffee. Anyway, he's gonna show me how to catch a Pokemon, even though I already caught a Pokemon, so I very clearly already know how this works. And I guess they can be forgiven for this, because it's like the beginning of the franchise. But actually, I don't remember. Is the catching Pokemon tutorial optional yet in like X and Y or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? Actually, I don't think it is. You'd think that at some point they'd have already thought, oh hey, maybe people have played these games before, maybe they don't need a freaking tutorial. I mean, I've been playing the Ace Attorney games recently on my train rides to school, and in each new game, they give you like the option, do you want to see a tutorial on how you have to do like the questioning and the cross-examination and all that sort of stuff. They give you an option to choose no if you've already played an earlier game and know how that stuff works. Why do the Pokemon games not do that? It seems like just common courtesy to me. Excuse me. Anyway, Nidoran is not going to be able to beat this Nidoran female. So let's get Pikachu in here. Thunder Shock it a little bit. Nice, do it, KO, and Growl's not going to bother me, because Thunder Shock's a special move. And that should get rid of Nidoran. Huh. Wacky ass damage roll mechanics in Generation 1. Okay, find another Thunder Shock then. That ought to get rid of the Nidoran. Still not to level 5. Nidoran male. Well, I guess we'll just switch him back in, because I need to get him leveled up somehow. He's my ticket to beating Brock, because that's not gonna work out with just Pikachu. Okay, let's see how far Nidoran can go. Tackle, that's not good. Yep, let's get him out of here before he gets wrecked by a Horn Attack or something. I don't know if it learns Horn Attack at that low of a level, though. Thunder Shock, better damage because Nidoran male is the more fragile of the species. And I can't help but feel that they should just retcon the whole Nidoran situation. Like, fuse Nidoran male and female into a single Pokemon, like how Meowstic is completely different whether it's a male or a female. That's what they should do with Nidoran, and the only reason they didn't do that is because they didn't have the whole gender concept yet in Generation 1. I know they're not really too keen on retconning stuff in the Pokemon franchise, except for a couple Pokemon's typings every now and then when a new type gets introduced. But I think that's definitely something they should do. I mean, it's just weird to have them as two separate species of Pokemon when they're pretty much just the exact same species, just different genders. And no, I don't think they should fuse Nidorina and Nidorino and Nidoqueen and Nidoking, because those are actually, like, separate. I think it's like some sort of divergent evolution or whatever. I don't know what the proper term for that is. Come on, Nidoran, you're not gonna get your ass kicked by a Caterpie, are ya? That's critical hit, and it doesn't even do that much more than its regular attack. Nidoran, pretty disappointed with you right now, mate. I mean, if it weren't for the fact that natures weren't in this game, I'd say my Nidoran has a shitty nature. Although I have no idea how the IVs work in Generation 1, to be honest. Maybe he just has shitty IVs. Anyway, Pikachu takes care of the Caterpie, and I really wish Nidoran would just learn some better moves already. I think he's actually supposed to learn Peck fairly soon. That could help against all the bug types in here. And I don't want to walk back to the Pokemon Center, so let's just heal him up with a potion. And keep going, beat more bug catchers. Man, that guy has a pretty long line of sight. That kind of gets me wondering, what is the single longest line of sight that's ever been in a Pokemon game? I mean, this guy is a pretty long line of sight, but I don't really remember any other ones that can see extremely far. Anyway, let's, he's not gonna do that much damage to me anyway, so let's just try and get him a little leer, see how much tackle does then. Maybe then he can actually beat a Caterpie. I guess maybe in the long run. But Nidoran's gonna get pretty banged up as well from this. Bloody hell, I'm gonna need to heal him up again right after this one. Why don't they just have Weedles? Nidoran can take Poison Stings a lot better than he can take some tackles. Oh well. There we go. He actually went through that with less damage than I thought he was gonna get. And of course another Caterpie, because screw variety. And also because there's only 151 Pokemon to choose from in this game, so you're not gonna get a whole lot of variety anyway. Hell, this is probably the Pokemon game with the least amount of AI trainer Pokemon variety. Simply because every other game has had more Pokemon in its national dex. Although I think Diamond and Pearl actually only had 150 as well. And that's pretty pathetic considering at that point in the franchise they already had nearly 500 Pokemon, so what the hell happened there? Anyway, at least he also managed to beat the second Caterpie somehow, so good job Nidoran, level 8. And he's growing pretty fast. He started this episode at level 4. And we're like 7 minutes in and he's level 8 already. And he knows Horn Attack now. So maybe now he's actually fairly competent on his own. Good for you, Nidoran. Heal him up again. Let's see, I think he's gonna get Double Kick at like level 12 or something. So we still need to get him to that level. Because, ooh, Metapod. Basically free experience. Level 4. Man, if you catch one of these, you're quite the sucker, because that thing's only gonna know Harden, and raising it is going to be hell. Yeah, go right ahead. I'm sure Horn Attack can pierce right through it. Or maybe not. But at least a tackle should finish him off now. There we go. Not as good experience as I thought it would give. Probably because it's just a wild Pokemon and they don't give out as much experience. And Pidgey, level 6. That would be a decent level to catch him at, I guess, but I really don't want to use Pidgey, because Pidgeot is pretty terrible. If you're going to use a flying type in Red and Blue or Yellow, just go with either Fearow or Dodrio. I mean, you can get Spearow pretty early as well, I think. Dodrio, not quite as early, but I think they're definitely the best option to go with. Or you could just say screw it and go with Farfetch'd or something. If you're crazy. That's actually one of the Pokemon I've never bothered to use, Farfetch'd. That one is just so hard to get in most Pokemon games. It's always like hidden away in a really obscure area, or you have to trade for it with some in-game trainer. Or whatever, it's just a pain in the ass to get a hold of. I think in X and Y you can catch him in like one of the earliest routes, but X and Y has so many flying types that are so much better. I mean, hell, Fletchling is better than Farfetch'd is. That's saying something. Anyway, this Metapod ought to get me decent experience because it is trainer-owned. So, let's see, 91, that's better. And Caterpie. Well, let's just keep going. Pikachu's not seeing an awful lot of usage in this episode so far. Now that Nidoran can finally fight his own fights. Took him a little while to get there. String shot. Whatever. You're not gonna win battles if you don't dish out damage, mate. That's like rule number 1 of Pokemon battling. Dealing damage is all that matters. And sometimes stat boosts if you can get away with it. But stat decreases, nobody ever really uses those. I mean, when do you ever see moves like Scary Face in competitive battling? Never. Or Screech, or Cotton Spore, or Metal Sound, or whatever. You never see those. You either buff your own stats or just attack. You don't go around lowering opponent's stats. Unless it's like a move like Memento or something. Anyway, he ran out of Pokemon. Go and catch some more Caterpies in here. I mean, there's only a couple more million of them, probably. Oh, Pokeball. What do we have here? Potion. Alright, no trips back to the Pokemon Center for me when Nidoran gets banged up again. And Pikachu's pretty happy. That blank, vacant expression on his face. Look at his little feet go. Alright. Now, they did remove the wild Pikachus in the entire yellow version. The Pikachu you get at the beginning is the only Pikachu you're going to be able to get in the entire game. Not that I'm really that bummed out. I mean, it's not like I wanted to add a second Pikachu to my team. But in red and blue, you have like Viridian Forest, where Pikachu's the rarest damn thing in there. In yellow, it's not even there. And I think in yellow, Weedle isn't even there either. I think Weedle is actually exclusive to red and blue. Not really sure why they did that. So basically, the only things you're going to be able to run into in here are Caterpie, Metapod, and apparently Pidgey. So that's actually less Pokemon than in red and blue, I think. See, in red and blue you have Caterpie, Metapod, Weedle, Kakuna, Pikachu, and I think Pidgey as well. So you went from 6 basically down to 3. That's pretty sad. Anyway, a couple horn attacks ought to deal with this thing. And it does. 90? Not level 11 lit. Metapod, oh there we go. Good experience. Although with the Harden, and I kind of want Pikachu to get some experience as well. I don't want him to fall behind too far. And Thundershock doesn't care. Oh, he actually knows Tackle. And he gets a critical hit, lucky bastard. Oh well. One more. Ooh, Paralyzed. Excellent. Very nice. Thundershock again, and that oughta get Pikachu to level 10, I suppose. Damn, 123, that is the good stuff. No level 10 for Pikachu, though. He must be really close to it, then. Oh no, that wasn't the last guy yet. Almost there. Man, who's been who's been cutting down all these trees? Look at all those stumps in the middle of the road. Some serious deforestation going on in Viridian Forest. They're destroying the Pokemon's habitats. That's a bad thing. And I remember in this game you could, if you had cut, you could go around and actually just cut down all the tall grass that the wild Pokemon are in. I thought that was awesome. I don't remember in which games they removed that function, though. I think you could still do it in Gold and Silver, maybe? I don't think you could do it in Ruby and Sapphire anymore, though, so I think they removed that around Gen 3, probably then. And here we have another potion. They didn't have a whole lot of items yet in Generation 1 either, so you're gonna run into a lot of the same ones. Okay, this ought to be the last guy in here, I think. And of course another Caterpie. And in this game they can't even be shiny. Man, I've never run into a single shiny Pokemon in one of my Pokemon LPs. That's kinda sad. I mean, I see all these other Pokemon LPers, they're running into like shiny after shiny. And I'm not even running into a single damn one. That's quite sad, because then you're never gonna hear my exuberant reaction when I run into one. Oh well, maybe in one of the future Pokemon games. Because this'll probably not be the last Pokemon game on my channel, I can pretty much guarantee that much. I mean, I guess I could always play like a Generation 2 game. Even though I've already done Soul Silver, maybe you could play Crystal or something. Or Fire Red or Leaf Green. Nidoran up to level 11, still no double kick though. And we're kinda running out of trainers between me and Brock, so it's probably gonna have to involve lots of grinding on wild Pokemon then. Actually, wasn't there like another guy over here? Huh, oh no. Guess there wasn't. And the screen goes grey, because we're in Pewter City. And Pewter City is where the rock-type gym is, and rocks are grey, so there you go. Oh, that Jigglypuff. I remember that Jigglypuff. You could do some fun stuff with that thing. Or at least with that Jigglypuff and Pikachu. Anyway, we'll go and heal up, and then in the next episode, we'll probably go and grind for a bit, maybe, and then fight Brock. So, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.